One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996.
I bounce around, and it's not unusual for me to read more than one book at a time, simply because some of that depends on the kind of day I've had, the kind of week I've had, how much time maybe I've spent that day digesting work-related materials, legal documents, and what kind of mind frame I'm in. Am I looking for a release? Am I looking to unwind, or am I looking to learn? Am I looking to even refresh my memory on something? Is there a particular topic or something I'm dealing with, either with my family or at work, that I want to expose myself to? So it varies, and I juggle again multiple books at a time, typically, so that depending on where I am mentally, I can go to where I need to be. Well, first of all, when I'm reading, and again, this was something I had to learn, and I had a mentor who helped me with this, but I write my books, I highlight, and so it's easy for me to go back and digest a book in a very short amount of time, at least the key points and the key takeaways from that reading. That's easy for me to do. And so I have a library at my house, and from time to time I'll grab a book or two, and I may carry it in my briefcase for that week or that month or whatever it is for reference when I'm going around, or I may just sit down one night and pop it open and spend 20 minutes going through again those key lessons. I make notes, and if it's a point that I just find myself coming back to again and again and again, then I've got a separate document that I keep and update with those. Again, long ago, Dutch Bachman called them pearls of wisdom, and so I kind of catalog those in a document that I update regularly with those things that really resonate and that I think are really true to who I am and who I aspire to be. Well, I learned too. I only read books that have been recommended. At least I try. There might be an exception here or there, but really that is I believe a very key point, because don't have time to waste on a bad book, and there are enough good ones out there to where I try not to stray. But I would say the kind of my list of must-reads that I pass along most frequently would be On Becoming a Leader by Warren Bennis, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie, The Servant by James Hunter, Built to Last, Collins and Porras, and then a book called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And I think they cut across, they all have a leadership element to them, but, it's about relationships, it's about people, it's about personal development, personal growth. So those are five of my must-reads that I pass along most often. Yeah, it's my pleasure. I'll tell you in closing, too, there's a monograph that I think for people, particularly in college athletics, and because you talked about Collins and what he writes, there's a monograph that he wrote after Good to Great was published, and this would have been years later based on the feedback he got from people, and it's called Good to Great in the Social Sectors. And it's just a really short, quick read. But to me, that really, I think every college administrator should read that, because it really does, I think a light bulb went off for me when I read that, in terms of how we have one foot in the business sector and one foot in the social sector, and how those two things aren't mutually exclusive, and how we can be very much mission-driven and altruistic, but at the same time very entrepreneurial and professional. So that's one that is a must-read as well.
And that's today's One Question, brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996. One Question is designed to give D1 Ticker subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences. One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996.